Hello guys, Michael Mechanical here. Today, we've actually had already one live stream today, and we've also been working on the brakes. So now, instead of doing that, let's be smart. So now the brakes are both on the car. They've been bladed, they're ready to go, and now we've been working on something else. Now I'm going to show you this puddle of dirty water. Now that is not water; it's actually grease, degreaser, and a little bit of water, because I tried to use a bit of water. That doesn't work. And the problems we had were there was a lot of dirty grease, and there's also a broken seal which has been letting dirt in. So that's not just grease, that's actually dirt. And as we can see here, there's actually grease coming out through this. Now this wasn't actually coming through before. In fact, it was all just bleeding out the bleed nipple, and it wasn't actually going into the ball joint or pressuring out. I was hoping that would work. Now that didn't work, so what I did instead was I got the greaser. This is already cracked open, so as you can see, there's an air compressor here. There's a bunch of the greaser here. I've only had to fill that once today. And so what I've been doing is, this is my second tin of degreaser. I've been cleaning it out with greaser and then blowing out the dirt with the air compressor gun. So where's the gun? Here it is. So this has gotten dirty many times tonight. I'm actually going to turn off the valve. And so what we're going to do, not right this second, obviously, it's too difficult to do it this second, is we're going to actually clean this up a little bit more. And then what we're going to do is, this is something I learnt from a, what do you call them? A boss of a company that is pretty smart. He actually learns a lot of things from other people. And what he does with everything that breaks is, instead of buying new parts, he's not the kind of guy to go and buy parts. He's the kind of guy that says, I'll live with what I've got, thank you very much. I'm not spending $1 million on something like this. I'm just looking at our panel. Anyway, this here is Sikaflex. What we're going to do with this Sikaflex, I'm just looking at the panel. I'm not sure it looks right. I'm sure it looks bent. But what we're going to do with Sikaflex is we're going to cover that whole thing with a deft load of this stuff. You don't use a little bit, use a lot. And you go all the way around, because if you only go on it partially, it's not going to hold, because this is a fresh surface, right? So if you can join both sides of the Sikaflex, it's going to act like a rubber band, essentially. And it's going to stick to the surface slightly, but it'll be enough to keep some dirt out. So that would be a good thing. I was just looking here. I haven't seen this before, but I'm not sure if this is damage. That's just like bent up. And I was just looking at this and like, wait, is that normal? I'm not really sure if that's normal or not. I could look on the other side. I'm just not sure if that's normal or not. It doesn't look straight. And I've never really been looking at the car from down here before. Nah, that's damaged. See, this side's straight, dead straight. And I don't know if that's new damage or not, because I've never hit anything. There's no actual signs of damage. And that side's like bent right there. So it doesn't make sense. I think they've hit something with this, I'm not sure. Anyway, there's spiders over here. Shouldn't do this, walk around. I'm kicking things over. So, what we're going to do is, I'm going to try my best to try and do this video and show you what I'm going to do, because it's actually probably a valuable lesson if you've ever got a ball joint which you know is still good and you want to try and save it. So basically, once you've cleaned it as best as you can, nice shiny silver, and you see the pitting. Now if the pitting is really bad, probably a good idea to replace the ball joint, because that's going to cause it to excessively wear out and it might even drop. Now they said the ball joint's going to drop out. No, it's not going to fall out. That ball joint's still solid. I've checked it and I got bullshitted too in the report. The only thing that's true about it is it's going to wear out quicker. So I got a can of grease here, which I was trying to pick up, but the lid's loose on the damn thing because someone doesn't put things on. That's me. And what we do with this is you actually just fill it up as best as you can. Now in my circumstance, I was actually lucky. kind of lucky. So what you do is you clean out that section where the seals split first with a deft load of this stuff. Especially if you can't push the grease through the nipple. If it goes through the nipple, pushing it through should clear it out, all the grease, the dirty grease, by sliding it around. It also isn't going to do a perfect job. So the way I did it was more perfect, as in it got a lot more crab out. But you also want to use air to get the grease out, because that's actually going to wear it out. Even brake cleaner will wear it out, but the brake cleaner will evaporate, whereas the grease normally sticks around. It doesn't really dry off. Well, it does, but it doesn't. It's a weird scenario where if you wet something with the grease, it doesn't normally run away. It sticks around. Hi, Mum. I'm talking to the camera. Yeah, Mum thinks I'm talking to someone. So what you do is you use the brake cleaner, let it dry off, and then it'll be good. Then you can put your grease through. So in my scenario, I was actually lucky to use the grease nipple. In another scenario, what you do if you can't get grease through the grease nipple is just fill it up. Over time, it might allow you to feed in through the nipple, but in my case, I was lucky to get through the nipple after all this work. So once you've cleaned it out very thoroughly, it will still probably be hard and it'll look like it's not going to work. Try it anyway after you've cleaned it, because if there's enough stuff crud loose and gone from the gap, when you push it through, it's just going to move that crap out, and then it will just clear itself out. After that, you get the grease as far as you can out that gap until it's basically pouring out. And at that point, you know you're at the point where you can stop filling it. You could also fill it up a little bit more just to get the rest of the crap out. At that point, we will now move on to repairing it, as well as cleaning it a little bit. So always wear safety glasses, especially when you're spraying stuff. I'd also recommend, because I didn't think about it before, an air mask when you're doing the greasing and spraying, cleaning, spray, clean, spray, clean. Because I got a bit of it in my eyes, even below these, in these glasses. And if you think about getting your respiratory system, which is probably done to me already, it could do damage, more than likely. But I'm not wise and I'm not smart. I'm telling you to be wise and smart. I don't have the money for tools and equipment. I just have to deal with what I've got, and that's it. So there's still crap coming out of this. But what I'm going to do is clean it up as much as I can. Now I've got a couple of tissues still laying around. Got those ones. I'll get this tissue box. And I use tissues mostly because it works well. What you want to do is, because I'm out of the grease, I'm out of this stuff anyway, is get as much of this as you can onto a tissue and clean it. Just gently clean the surface, because if you're too harsh, what will happen is you'll take out all the grease, and you don't want that. You want to just leave the grease in there. So take as much dirt as you can all the way around. Now if you can't get all the way around, that's okay. Just make sure you can get the silicone around. Now, recommendation when you're handling that silicone there, wearing gloves, because two reasons. One, it's easier to get the silicone off the gloves than it is to get it off your hands. It's also toxic. Also recommended you wear a respiratory mask. As it says here, pretty much respiratory problems can occur from using this product. So I've got a chalking gun here. I'm going to take this nozzle off the end, because otherwise it's really insanely difficult to use. And hopefully we've still got some wet stuff at the end. That looks wet to me. Yep, that's wet. So now what we do is, I don't know what quality this one is, but it should do the same job as any others. We put it into the chalking gun. Push it all the way. Then what we do is, you don't want to run this on either. You got two choices. One, you can get it to the point where you can try to feed it up there. I can't exactly feed it up there because the camera's also here. So what I'll do is I can get my arm around there and feed it up there a little easier. So I'll move this box, move this tub out of the way. There's a few things that extra I'm going to do. I'm going to also get a screwdriver to help me smear it around. So we'll start by getting the light in the way and working from here. I think she's already out. Nope, she's just really hard to feed. And this gun is really crappy gun. So I could get a better choking gun as well. Now it's not really working for me, so what I'll do, instead of using just the choking gun, I'm also going to take off the glasses because I can't see anything out of them anymore. They literally need cleaning. Since the choking gun's not working for me, I'm just going to get this and I'm going to not go for the bolt. Literally smear this thick stuff around here. I might even clean off the bolt as well because it's bad. Just have it on the bolt. It'll just make getting it off the bolt harder. Getting out the bolts harder. So you need a depth load of this stuff. So what I'll do is, instead of doing what I was doing before, it's still got stuff in it. It's just not a very good chalking gun. Cheap, junky chalking gun. So what I'll do is I'll just it also could be empty, I don't know. So what I'll do is I'll quickly release the gun. If I'm wrong, or if I'm right, I don't know. So there's still weight to it. This is how you check. You get a screwdriver, you put it in the hole, you stick it to the side. It's about half full. It just gives you an idea of how crappy this chalking gun is. I'm going to go grab another one, guys. And so then I'll try to use another chalking gun to fix that ball joint. This is a cheap one. It's only like $3. So I'll get a $20 one, I think. So this is what a $20 one looks like. More expensive. It's got a hexagonal shaft to drive it. It's also a bit more better with the grip. It's also got a better bite point. The bite point is essentially when it grabs onto the shaft and stops it from backing off. So meaning it won't go loose, meaning you can get a bit more travel on the handle. So now I can go with this. And this should work a hell of a lot better than the other one. And if it does, we might actually just be able to feed it straight up there. So it's working a bit better. Oh, look at that. And like I said, depth load. That's the difference between a good one and a bad one. Then what you do is you just smear it as much as you can around the point you want to seal. If you can get it all the way around, that's better. It will hold better. and getting over as much surface area as possible, because then it will stick. But the reason you go thick is because you don't want it to easily just go bang, you want it to hold. So I'm going to go as far as I can. I have no idea how good that side of the ball joint looks. This is what my dad's boss does when he comes across a broken part. He just sticker flexes the crap out of it. Okay, so we're getting there. So I'm literally pushing it around the edge, the back side of it. Because we really want to get that, we really want to smear it around the ball joint, the seal, make sure she's good. You could do this once, you could do this twice. I'll recommend doing it maybe twice in your case, because this is not expected to last, but it will keep the part alive and secure for a couple more serviceable years, maybe even longer. It will just replace this seal that's not there anymore. This is, I mean, I think the reason my dad's boss learnt these tricks is he has the Tata Telfer line, and we can't get many parts for it. So the way he gets around things is he essentially stops being concerned with buying parts and starts being more concerned with actually making them in the first place. And it's not as easy as it looks, because if it cracks in any spot where you want to seal, like I'm having problems trying to keep it sealed now, it means that you'll not be able to maintain the integrity of that seal. So to make sure she's got good integrity, cover her a couple of times. A def load, like I said, you need like a def load of this stuff on there. It might restrict movement, maybe, if you're not careful as well. You don't want to actually shove it in the hole, you just want to smear it around the edge. And what I'm doing is I'm applying a little bit of pressure inwards while rubbing it. So that's about it. I think I'll leave it at this. I'm not going to worry about too much more unless I want to steer her and hopefully not press the stuff out. There's two things I could do. One, I could probably leave it overnight, check it in the morning, apply more of this silicone. Or two, what I could do is I could probably put it on the ground or try and play with the steering, and if she pushes out the grease, then I just do it again I think it would be safer bet for everyone to just apply your silicone first, then let it dry. Once it's dry, then you can play around steering and see if she leaks. If she leaks, that's bad. Apply more, clean it first, then apply more silicone. Now I'm just checking her to make sure she's not got any pockets where she could definitely come out. But yeah, the reason I wanted to steer it is because I don't really want it to dry in a bad point inside. So steering it would make it it's like centrifugal force. I can't pronounce it properly. It's when you apply that, it goes to the outside. So the more the higher your speeds, the more it's going to throw it out. So if you had a string connected to you know, one of those strings which stretch, if you had one with a weight on the end and you spun it slowly, eventually it would go even further out the faster you go. So when you're steering, the centrifugal forces will push the silicone out, and that's what I was thinking of doing. But there's, you know, I'm not sure what will happen because I haven't really done that, but I don't really want to take any risks because your silicone costs a lot of money. Do you want to take a risk of that? Or would you rather the steering break the seal in the sense that that stuff's not going to stick to grease? So if it's already greased inside, I don't believe that's going to stuff up the ball joint. I believe it won't stick at all. It'll just stick to the surfaces you cleaned and that's it. Just like other stuff. So yeah, I think we leave it overnight. And that's the best case scenario. Well, actually, it's the best thing to do. Other than that, guys, I am probably done with this video tonight. It's been a good day to get some work done, but it's been a bad day since it's too close to Christmas, and also because I might not be able to get fuel by the time this thing is driving, which I need for Christmas Eve, because I plan on the same day we're going up the farm to drive up the farm with the thing to test it out, make sure it's all good. Also to see if the brakes are all going to work 100%. So I want opinions. I don't like birthdays, and I guess you could say I don't really enjoy Christmas, although I did get something for Christmas for someone. The reason I don't really enjoy, I sort of enjoy Easter a little bit, but I don't enjoy my birthday and I don't enjoy Christmas, because for me those are bad times. Every time when I was little, I always got told, oh, I ruined Christmas and I ruined this and I ruined that, and it always was really not fair and not nice. Sort of was them ruining Christmas for me. I tried to make it up to people, but unfortunately, nah. Damage is done, you can't fix this sort of thing. They wouldn't even give me a chance to try and fix anything or nothing when I was little. But that's what happens when you grow up. Sometimes you grow out of things, sometimes you don't. I think what I enjoy most is having the nice people around you, having the space, having what you need around you, not having people disappoint you and be disappointed on a day that's festive. So try to make the best of the bad times, I guess. I think driving the car will be fun, especially if we all go up to Nana and Pop's and I take that with me. Because then if we go up there and it's all good, I can go driving around maybe up there on some roads and go looking for some animals like kangaroos and stuff. What I really, really enjoy is something I don't even know what I enjoy anymore. That's the thing with me. Games. That's me, but the problem is I don't enjoy putting in the effort. That's the thing. It takes a lot of work. The only time I enjoy really making games is when you have something you want working and it works well, and it's like, yes, I've done it. I made something happen and it's awesome. Then with cars, what I've learned with cars is it's just one of those things you've got to throw money at when you don't have it. And when you have to work on the car you use for work, and then when things keep breaking and you're earning money and you're just pouring it into the car, it can be really not the greatest experience, because you're not driving this for fun, you're driving it for work. You're you're essentially working to keep the car so that you can do other things with it, but you're not able to spend much with it on doing other things. So what I'm doing to make the best of times, I'm going to try and use this to have a little bit of fun driving around by fixing things up first and then using them before they actually get put in place, being used for work. Because if I use them just for work, where's the fun in all the effort I put in there? I mean, I'm essentially doing it for nothing, and the company I work for is essentially getting a free vehicle that doesn't require them to spend $1 on it. They only have to pay the wages, and that's it. And I have to pay to repair the car, I have to pay for the maintenance, I have to pay for everything associated with the car. All they pay for, or sorry, they make me pay for insurance for me in public liability. Whenever things get broken on here, they take the money and run. So that's because I don't have no proof. So take it as a rumor, please. Okay, MY. I know somewhere between 2006 and 2011, I think, there was some really bad Tritons. I read some articles about Triton's engines going every 30,000 kilometers or something, and the transmissions doing something similar. And so that was unfortunate. I think you'll be safe with the MY. It's more newer, and I don't think it's in the period where there was articles that said the engine's going at this and trains at this. And that's why I think when people were telling me to stay away from a new car when it comes out, that's one of the reasons you stay away from them, because you don't know what's going to happen with those models. I'd personally go looking for some stories and find some evidence to support it. So don't find just one story. Find about 5 stories if you can. That way you know there's a significant amount out there. Find a lot of correlation to suggest that, yes, there is a problem with this vehicle that says it's no good. I know this vehicle well. It's a money pit. But here's the catch with this car. No new car can compete with this car for the one major reason. It doesn't need a computer to run. The thing with computers being needed to run a car is that if something goes wrong with the computer, you're essentially stuffed. You need another computer. And if you can't get another computer and you can't get something that works to replace that computer, then you're in a pit hole. You can't fix the car, you can't get it running. With this thing, everything is simple enough that if you have a part, reproduce that part and just put it in its place. It's something like that. And this thing is fixable. Compared to newer cars, this thing is definitely fixable. That's why I like this car. That's why I never want to sell it. With the newer cars, though, I think a good thing about the newer cars is they're a lot more fuel economy, less emissions, and they have more power. From what I understand, for what they do environmentally, from what they do to your pocket-wise in the running term of the vehicle, they're pretty good. Because not only are you paying less for fuel for more power, but you're also essentially being supporting of the environment. Having one of these doesn't support the environment. It's just really good to have when you don't really have much money and you don't have the resources to get everything fixed. I don't have the resources to fix a computer-based vehicle. But we fixed Dad's. And we got 3 computers, I think. So if you guys are looking for a really good car, new cars are a good way to go. Second-hand wise, get an old car, because you won't have problems with computers going. Diesels are more reliable. Petrols, not really sure. But what I do know is that has a V6. It still doesn't run right. And thank you, Elliot, for your subscription. But like I said, do your research on that car. I don't know whether there's been those problems go wrong. That's the whole thing you've got to do when you plan to get a car. Do a lot of research on it. If it's a brand new car, maybe wait a year, see what people say, or maybe even over the running term of the vehicle. Make sure someone can do 100,000 good kilometers with it before something goes wrong. Or like my neighbor did. He bought a brand new car, the thing did 100 to 200,000 kilometers. The gearbox was going bad. They put a new one in it. That one was going bad already straight after. And so they said, we're not going to replace another one. It's going to cost us the amount, you know, $7,500. We're not going to do it. We'll give you the trade-in value of it, which is $7,500. We'll give you an extra $10,000 for the next new car, and you'll get it for this much, a more reliable car. And so if you have lucky stars on your side, you can do something like that and get a good brand new car. Anyway, I better end this video, stop wasting your time, and start finishing up what I can here. I'm going to leave the wheel off, I think, overnight. I'm going to work on the other side, put that essentially down on the ground, finish this off tomorrow morning, and be done. So, see you in another video. Catch you later. I'll recommend Chris Fix It, I think it is, and Scotty Kilmer, because they're really two good channels that I've watched when I get stuck. And Merry Christmas to you, Elliot, and take care.